Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Oh, hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client that was making really good progress in the past, but due to a change in circumstances relating to their job and certain key social things, put them on a path they were previously, and they didn't really want to be that way. They wanted to kind of be a different version of themselves. And what you're going to hear on this hypnosis session is a phrase that I love, which is this idea of probability trees. And clearly it's a metaphor, but it's a metaphor that I think is really, really useful because most people have a sense that in life, one major decision sends them on a different trajectory. And while they're on that trajectory, it also increases the possibility or probability of other things happening. So, for example, if just on a whim you decided to live in a different part of the world, a different country, after making that decision, there's lots of things that are almost impossible to happen to you and lots of other things that are highly likely simply because you're living in a different part of the world. And that's a good way of thinking about more nuanced things when it comes to a probability tree. If someone drinks a lot of alcohol, for example, they increase the probability of certain health consequences, but also certain other ramifications depending on how they are when they're under the influence of alcohol. Some people, for example, under the influence of alcohol tend to take other drugs, or they might eat more, or they might spend more money. They might, do online shopping or gambling while they're under the influence of alcohol. So one thing can quite often lead to another thing, which then leads to another thing. In this particular hypnosis session, it encourages the client to consider two different branches of this probability tree. And it's good to frame things on a spectrum. So imagining your worst life and your best life, and then thinking, what increases the probability of your worst life? And it probably is certain decisions and consistent habits and behaviors that increase the probability of that. Equally, the best life in your future, again, is probably going to be an echo of consistent decisions over time. And most people have a sense of what they would be. And this hypnosis session enables you to explore different possibilities. That's the great thing about the future. Nothing is guaranteed. It's just all about probabilities and possibilities. And there's a few phrases here that talk about turning possibilities into inevitabilities. This idea of, well, if you do something enough, it almost becomes inevitable that these good things happen as a consequence. If you feel like this is useful for you, great, continue listening. If you want something a bit more bespoke, there will be a link in the show notes where you can check out a free consultation call to explore working with me. And right now, because at the point where I'm publishing this, it is Black Friday, for the next 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be offering a discount code for any one-to-one sessions. So if you use 20% off, so 20% sign OFF in the coupon code box in the checkout, you will get 20% discount on any one-to-one session. So if you've been thinking about this anyway, it might be worth considering that now. The link and the code will be in the show notes. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, Breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And on the outward breath, allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel a sense of release. Releasing tension, and then breathing in a deep breath of resolve, a resolution to open up possibilities and probabilities. Scan your body for any clues of tension, and as you breathe out, give permission to release that tension. And maybe that's slowly at first, but just get a sense that that tension is melting away. Perhaps around your forehead, your jaw, your neck or shoulders. Just imagine it softening, loosening, dissolving in some way. Feel it leave your body in that outward breath. And then breathe in even more of that resourcefulness. And some of those resources might be confidence, belief. I want you to think of a version of you from the past where you were proud of your choices. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel that you are awakening that version of you. And perhaps you can recall a particular tonality of inner dialogue that is more impulsive, more gratification seeking, and just get a sense that as that version of you awakens, a different version of you becomes dormant, starts to go back to the past, become less influential. Breathing in resourcefulness, exhaling tension. And I want you to imagine a beautiful garden with a large oak tree. I want you to get a sense that as you look at the trunk naturally goes off in different directions. Large branches become medium branches, become lots of small branches. And I want you to imagine that this tree represents every possible iteration of your life. I want you to get a sense that some of these branches take your life in a positive, fulfilling, wonderful direction of pride, accomplishment, satisfaction, wonderful, good feelings. And other branches of this tree are more self-destructive. But I want you to get a sense that every branch of the tree is capable of persuading you it's the ideal branch for you. They say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But any person that you've seen living the consequence of self-destruction didn't realize they were on that path until it was too late. Something random happened. Something happened that created a chain reaction, a ripple effect, that meant that they were living with the consequences of previous choices that they didn't know would take them that way. So let's explore a branch of this tree that seems like it's a good, enjoyable, pleasurable place, but leads to somewhere undesirable. I want you to imagine looking up the trunk to a particular branch, and we can just call this branch impulsiveness or gratification, whichever word resonates the most, or something else. A place where this branch is all about short-term sensations, feelings that don't last very long, but feel appealing in the moment. Might be drinking something, smoking something, snorting something. But let's go down that branch. Or perhaps you could imagine, for the first few years of that branch, a few near misses, but no major catastrophes. And if you can recall a few near misses, let me know by nodding your head. What if the near misses are like warning flags, letting you know where things could go, encouraging you to take a different branch of the tree? But let's just imagine we ignore all of those warnings, put them down to bad luck. Just imagine that no big deal, and continue. And I want you to see a version of you at your current age, halfway down that branch of the probability tree. And I want you to see impulsive decisions that prioritize things that make you feel good in the moment, but perhaps aren't leading you to anything positive. See that version of you, drinking, smoking, snorting. And for a while, no big deal. The occasional argument. Observe yourself with periods of disappointment, self-loathing, but no big deal. But I want you to see that the further along that branch, the more of those tiny branches all lead to somewhere that you wouldn't want to be. I want you to get a sense that if your life in the future was to end up being a waste, being miserable, being full of regret, frustration, anger, it's more likely to be on this branch of the tree. And I want you to explore one specific branch. And maybe it's the worst possible branch that stems off that tree. Imagine your life 5 or 10 years in the future, where everything you love and value the most, you've lost. Or perhaps something catastrophic happens to your health that means either you don't exist or you're not capable of living life the way you would choose. And when you found a future like that, let me know by nodding your head. And then step into that version of you, perhaps hours or days before it reaches its very worst conclusion. And like a good twist in a movie, you start thinking backwards and the clues were there all along, but it only makes sense after you've seen the twist. I want you to put yourself in that future version of you, where the clues were there all along. All of those near misses were warnings. All of those opportunities to be discerning that weren't taken were missed opportunities. And if it all seems to make sense, how you ended up in this undesirable place, let me know by nodding your head. And maybe you can amplify it, make it worse. Sometimes where people find themselves in a dark situation, they use the very strategies to self-medicate that difficult situation rather than improve it. What if it leads to even more reckless or destructive behavior? What if it leads to some form of tragedy or waste? But I want you to feel this is just a possibility. And imagine going backwards through time, reversing key decisions that led you to that place. And maybe you've had the experience of seeing one of those maze puzzles in a puzzle book or newspaper. Isn't it always easier to solve the puzzle when you start at the end and work backwards? You get to miss all of those dead ends and little traps. I want you to go from the future back to the present, noticing all of those things that were so easy to avoid. And when you get back to the present, let me know by nodding your head. And what if you were intentional to, rather than go down that path, to go down a different branch of the tree that increases the probability of you living your very best life? I wonder what choices you would make in the short term. The career or job to pursue, the nutrition you consume, the quality of sleep that you get, how often you exercise, how much water you drink. To live your very best life, these small things aren't so small. I want you to get a sense that you make certain key changes. And because each time you do those things, you feel like you're buying a raffle ticket to live your best future life, these small things become rewarding things. These small things become fulfilling things, satisfying things. So imagine what the next few days and weeks would look like to just make sure you're on that branch of the probability tree. What people do you stop hanging out with? What things do you do to make things easier to do or more difficult to do? And then imagine everything has a cost, an opportunity cost. Everything you're not doing creates time, energy, and emotion to do different things. And what things would you do to increase the probability of living your very best life? And just think of 2 or 3 things that, if you did them consistently, would make you feel proud of yourself, would make you feel like you've created momentum in your life. That would make you feel like you're making progress. I want you to get a sense that all of these things that increase the probability, you can do them just once. And if you do them just once, you're more likely to do them again. And if every time you do them you feel good, you'll end up doing them more often. Every time you have a really good workout, makes you feel good, you increase the probability of having another really good workout. Every time you choose to drink something nutritious or cleansing, and that makes you feel good, you're more likely to drink that thing again. And I want you to imagine observing a version of you where that future life, where you're living your best life, isn't just a probability. It's an inevitable side effect of doing certain things consistently, being a certain way, doing certain things, feeling certain things, the way you reward yourself, the way you forgive yourself quickly for making a mistake, the way you have stop losses, so setbacks become blips rather than trends. See that version of you where living this incredible life in the future is an inevitability. And when you found that place, let me know by nodding your head. And then step into it. Feel what it would feel like 5 or 10 years from now to be living your best life. You see a reflection of yourself in the mirror, and you feel a sense of admiration, respect, pride. That is the person you intend to be. And what if being discerning, making great choices, makes that future inevitable? And just like you did before, imagine going backwards, noticing you didn't have to be perfect. You didn't need to be disciplined every day. It's just doing certain things consistently made that future possible. So as you go backwards in time, notice what you were doing consistently. Notice how you got out of ruts, began new habits, changed your emotional state without relying on drink or drugs. And when it all seems to make sense, going backwards, you realize you're planting seeds of ideas deep in your subconscious mind to turn this not into a possibility, but into a destiny. And when you figured out a roadmap to that future, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense as you return to the base of the tree. You have infinite possibilities as to your future. No future is guaranteed, but feel that the more you do certain things, the more you increase the probability of one branch rather than another branch. So set the intention as to what kind of future you want, what kind of person you need to be to lead to that future, and the kind of things you could choose to do to make it simple cause and effect that you arrive there. But before you return to the present, take a deep breath in through your nose. Breathe in a sense of conviction, self-belief, but also a sense of resolve. Tenacity and resolve to do what's necessary to steer your life in the most useful and desirable direction. But now it's time to return to the here and now, taking all of these changes with you. A new sense of clarity, a new sense of resourcefulness, realizing that that version of you that doesn't need substances or drink is fully awakened. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.